When analyzing whether Meghan Markle exhibits traits of narcissism, it's important to break down the concept of narcissism and the context in which her behavior is perceived. Narcissistic personality disorder is characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for admiration, entitlement, and a lack of empathy. Public figures, particularly those under intense media scrutiny like Meghan Markle, often face polarized perceptions that may distort a clear understanding of their personality. Much of the debate about whether Meghan exhibits narcissistic traits stems from media coverage that has often been both highly critical and sensationalized. The British tabloid press, in particular, has portrayed her as self-centered or attention-seeking. Headlines have focused on perceived rifts within the royal family, especially her and Prince Harry's decision to step back from royal duties. Some interpret this as driven by a desire for personal freedom and autonomy over traditional duty. This feeds into narratives of narcissism because stepping away from a prestigious institution could be seen as placing personal interests above collective ones. However, this perception needs to be weighed against the context in which Meghan made these decisions. She and Prince Harry have both spoken about the toll that media scrutiny took on their mental health and their desire to create a healthier environment for their family. Narcissism often involves a disregard for the well-being of others, but Meghan and Harry's actions can be seen as prioritizing their family's well-being over public or institutional expectations, which contrasts with narcissistic tendencies. Empathy is another important factor. Meghan has been an advocate for social causes, including mental health awareness, women's empowerment, and racial equality, advocating for vulnerable populations and using her platform to highlight issues of injustice suggests empathy, which contrasts with the lack of empathy seen in narcissism. Her work with organizations like the United Nations and the charitable initiatives of the Archewell Foundation point to a concern for the broader good. Public figures must manage their personal brand, which can be mistaken for self-centeredness. Meghan's background as an actress and her work in media have likely made her aware of public perception. Narcissistic individuals often have an excessive need for attention and admiration, but it's difficult to separate this from the normal dynamics of celebrity. Meghan has openly criticized the negative media attention she has received, indicating that she may not seek attention for its own sake, but rather aims to control the narrative surrounding her public persona. This differs from the constant need for validation typical of narcissism. Autonomy is also a key factor in this analysis. Meghan and Harry's decision to step away from royal duties could be framed as an assertion of personal boundaries, a step often taken by individuals seeking to protect their mental health. Narcissistic individuals often exhibit entitlement and a belief that they are above the rules, but their exit from royal duties seems to respond to the limitations and pressures placed upon them. Instead of breaking rules for personal gain, they chose to remove themselves from a system they felt was detrimental to their well-being. In summary, while Meghan Markle's actions and decisions, particularly her departure from royal duties and her control over her public image, have been interpreted by some as narcissistic, a deeper analysis suggests that her behavior aligns more with the desire for autonomy, protection of personal boundaries, and advocacy for social causes. While ambition and self-confidence can sometimes be mistaken for narcissism, her actions also demonstrate empathy and concern for others. There is insufficient evidence to suggest that Meghan Markle exhibits true narcissistic traits in a psychological sense, despite the public perception that may label her as such.